contact for our club, and I contacted them about 3 months ago to see about getting this space reserved. Not this space, but the building, part of the building. And normally we use the cafeteria because it's right there on the first floor. It's easy to get to. But she said that someone else had already reserved it and would ask them if it was okay or if they needed it still or whatever. She never heard back from them, I guess. I've contacted her twice the past week trying to get hold of her. Maybe she's on vacation. Is that better? Okay, so maybe she's on vacation, maybe whatever. But getting the... So I never heard back about the space downstairs. So I don't know if someone was going to use it or not. Now, maybe someone doesn't use it, and we did all those stairs for nothing. So just keep in mind that we'll be here in this building for the club meetings. Somewhere. So if we're not in the gym, which is the first doors right when you first come in, the big room there, if we're not in the cafeteria, if we're not up here, it's possible we could be over in the band room. Now the band room is also just down at the bottom of these stairs pretty much. It's the wall that's in front of you when you come out of the stairs, it's behind that wall. So you got to go down around into the hallway around the corner. It's easy to get to, but it's also a big room that they have available. So it'll be somewhere in the building. Hopefully it'll be downstairs in the cafeteria. But today we're up here just because I never did get confirmation whether someone was going to be using that or not. So
maybe we ought to make a couple of signs just in case. And
right.
Either at the gym or the cafeteria, put OARC or one with an arrow.
Yeah, I'll have to take care of something like that. That's a great suggestion. But just for those of us that are here right now today, don't come in and think, where is everybody? There's nobody here, and go home. You know, we're here somewhere. So I'll go back down again and guide anybody else that's coming in after in a few minutes. Make sure that everybody gets a chance to come up and be a part of the club.
I think with the number of cars in the parking lot with antennas on them, it's probably pretty obvious we're here someplace.
Right, we're here someplace. But people sometimes get really weird about things like that.
Right.
I looked all over the building and I didn't find you. So this place is ADA compliant. There is an elevator. It's just back in this back hallway back here. It's extremely slow, but it's there. Or if you can do the stairs gets us up here as well. If you end up on that side of the building, the stairs also come up, but then you have to go from that side to this side, and it's a big, long, winding hallway that I don't know if, it's pretty ugly. So anyway, just so you know, we'll pass that information along. I will get some signs made that will tell us, tell people where we are that particular day, get them up on the doors and stuff like that so that we're all here. Other than that, we do appreciate their willingness to let us use the building, and they're willing to let us keep using the building as long as we leave it in a good state when we're gone. So, it's hard to imagine that we could do the kind of damage that they do. They practice their rifle drills and stuff up here, which is why the floor is in the state that it is. So.
You could actually.
Anyway, that's all I had for you on that.
And show it on the wall.
I'll turn it back over to Greg.
Thank you for your effort.
The whiteboard behind it, it's got all kinds of writing on it, which is why she needs it. Thank you.
I can turn it down and put the lights down.
Are we okay?
That was a good one. Okay. Are we okay? Can you see this? Thank you, everybody, for coming. I apologize for the late start. That is not something I like to do. But we're here.
Well, we lost the mic.
And you're an amazing sight. So thank you for being here. We have several things to do today. And Dave, if you can hang on just a minute. We've got some business with you here in a second. Now, I do all of this because if I don't have something to look at, I ramble and I'll forget. So Welcome. I think I welcomed. Did I welcome? We have visitors here. I know we have some visitors here. We have some folks from the section. Let's start with our section, folks. Stand and introduce yourselves.
I'm Lisa Cook, K7 LAC, I'm assistant section manager.
Okay.
I'm Ted John, November Alpha 7 Charlie, and my job is clubs, and so I'm kind of a club slut. I belong to like half the clubs in Utah.
So Ted's here auditing us to make sure that we're, okay.
I'm Casey, KJ7IBE, also WRSJ305 on the GMRS side. I've been trying to pick that up a lot the last few months. Not really a visitor, I've been a member of the club for like 3 years, just haven't ever shown up. So this is my first time meeting.
Well, we're glad you're here, Casey. Yes.
I'm Lynn Crook, KG7UHX. Just checking it out and seeing what's going on.
Well, I hope you like what you see. Thanks, Lynn.
I'm KF7LLN, Steve, and I'm from up in Morgan, and this is my father, Kent, and he's from Hooper. So we're kind of meeting halfway in the middle and trying to help him get his license.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you.
Brian Sawyer, KB7H1U. I'm the Weaver County DC. I'm the Aries group. I'll be here to support everybody.
Thanks, Brad. We appreciate you being here. We may talk about Brad a little more here in a minute. It'll all be good, I promise. Do we have any new hands who just got their license? Oh, sorry. One more.
I'm not a new ham, but I'm new to this area. Spencer, KJ7AVA.
Good. Welcome. Okay. No new hands? How about folks who've had a license upgrade recently? Do we have any of those? Okay. Well, we'll invite you to think about that if you'd like. We're going to give Mike a minute here to talk about Waterfield Day and the Christmas party.
Christmas party in December. It's the same third Saturday, only it's at 5 in the evening at, what do they call it, City Buffet? City Club or something like that. It's in Roy, 1900 West, between 56 and 5700. It's where we've been the last 3 years, is the same place. And if you haven't eaten there before, you pay your own way. The club does not pay your dinner for this. So you come in and you pay your own way, but you just go in, you tell them you're with the radio club, and they'll send you off into a back corner, which is a very large room, and there is where we will be gathered. You pay as you go out, which is a little bit different because it is a buffet. Most buffets you pay as you go in. This one you pay as you go out because they will have people coming around asking you what you want to drink, and they'll bring you your water or your Coke or whatever you want to drink. And then you will pay as you leave. And we meet in there. Question?
I keep falling for it, and maybe I'm just not quite as tuned in as I should be, but remember that when you pay the bill, they will already tip themselves. So if you tip it, you just double tip. So be careful of that kind of a trap. I always go out and like, oh, what the heck is that for?
Yes, and that's a good point, because that's a question some people have wondered. But typically with a restaurant, when you have a large group, they will automatically include something in there. And that's already done.
But they don't tell you, so when they give it to you, there's a tip thing down below, so you don't know where the tip's up there.
Yeah, and it's already built in. And there we will have you come in, you sit down, find a place to sit, join others, you go get your food, and after we eat a little bit, then we'll start the meeting. We take care of the business type of things, and then we have the prize drawings. There is prize drawings for paid up members, and those are gift cards. And then we want everyone, that they feel like it, to donate something to the table of prizes. You can donate whatever you want. anything. Just don't make it super expensive. And then we have a drawing to just give out that stuff. We'll have tickets, everybody will give them tickets, and we'll work out the details. Paid up members get to put their name in the hat for the gift certificates, but everyone else in attendance, families, whoever else, can put their name on for the other drawings, whether they get a container of chocolates or whatever it is that they have on the table. And so that's what we're doing in December. Now, the next one, we have our January meeting, which I won't talk about, but Winter Field Day. The last 2 years, the club has participated in what we call Winter Field Day. We had a member of the club who was very supportive of that, and he kind of organized it and got it off the ground. That member of the club isn't here anymore. He's not moved. But we would like to know if there's interest in doing it. What it is the last 2 years we've gone out to Dave's mother-in-law's farm, and we've set up an antenna, and we set up a radio in a trailer, and we operated and made HF contacts. It's kind of a contest thing, and we operated, sat in the shed out there and tried to stay warm. There are some who have been very interested, and it's not something we've gotten a lot of participation with. We want to know if it's worth doing again. So the question I have for all of you is, if we did it, who would be serious about wanting to come out and spend several hours? Oh, it's the last Saturday and Sunday, last weekend of January, by the way. Who would be seriously interested in participating in that? 1, 2, 3, 4.5.
How about asking who might be partially interested?
That's the next question. Who has a casual interest that may, if they're not doing anything else on that Saturday, show up for 15 minutes and say hi? Okay, so we have a few more that would do that. If we decide to do this, the last couple of years they have had a little barbecue there for those who wanted to stay around for dinner. Who would be interested out of those? Well, let's first ask the casual interested and the serious. Who would be interested in staying around for a dinner, a barbecue? Okay, about the same number of the casual ones. Who would be interested in helping set up stuff? We have 3 or 4 that are interested in setting up. So we have really 4 that are serious. We have about a dozen who are casual interest.
What time does it start?
It's exactly the same rules almost as regular field day in June. So it goes from noon to noon. Now, on regular field day, we get quite a bit of participation on that Saturday, and by Sunday evening, 90% of them have left and don't come back. And they don't come back for the rest of the time. If we decide to do that, of those who are serious, because that's the only ones who would be interested in that anyway, how many would be willing to spend the night and take everything down on Sunday? That's what I thought. Evan. Okay, because we could do just a Saturday thing and set up in the morning and take down in the evening. That would be a lot easier to do, and then we wouldn't be worried about staying the night and that kind of stuff. I'm not staying the night no matter what. So my interest is more the casual interest. I'll show up for a little while, and that will be the extent of it. Dave has a comment.
Okay, so the pole barn, if you haven't been out there, the pole barn is a great big open refrigerator.
But it does have a very nice wood-burning stove that generates a lot of heat.
There is that, and I've got a couple of diesel heaters that I'll be taking out there, and we've got the big propane tank, and we'll have some heat that way. For the most part, I do a lot of the setup because I have to remove the stuff that my brother-in-law stores in there and bring the tables. Most of that's still already out there from last year. So there's not really a whole lot of setup, but if the consensus is that we're just going to do Saturday and clean up after a barbecue, or 10 o'clock at night or whatever, then that's fine. We can do it that way, or if there's more interest, my mother-in-law is fine with having us out there all night. So.
Okay, if you read the website of Winter Field Day, the purpose is to practice setting up in the winter time. If our only purpose is to meet that, then we would do Saturday only. We fulfilled the purpose. If it's to spend the night chatting and chitting and everything, and one person watching the radio once in a while, then it isn't worth spending the night. So we'll make a decision with that, and that will go on the website. My guess is, as of what I've seen right now, is it would probably be only a Saturday event. But we'll decide as club officers what we really want to do now that we know what the interest is. And any questions on that? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Do we have a report on the regular field day, how the results came out in the magazine? How we do?
I don't have that information.
Valid.
Who put it together? Justin, did you put it together?
I submitted the entry, but I don't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Okay.
In the ARR first day this month, they have the results, and we're in there. I don't remember the number, but I plan on putting it in the newsletter.
Okay. Look for it in the newsletter. And that's a good plug for the newsletter. We've got an awesome newsletter. For some of you, I know it's overwhelming because there's a lot of information there. But I'd encourage you to take a look at it. It's really pretty good. And Val spends a lot of time doing that for us. Just wanted to report back on our auction and our steak fry. We had a few steaks left over, and so we've been selling those to add to the total of the auction. And altogether, we came up with about $658 for our coffers, which will help pay for the next steak fry. So, thank you for everybody for participating in that and helping. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be at the auction. I was in Tennessee. Wanted to keep my wife happy. We've been together for more than 40 years. I'd like another couple of years. We've already talked about the Christmas party. Let's take some announcements from the club before I do some recognitions. Mel has an announcement for us. Come on up.
Thank you very much. I just looked it up in the QST, and the club got 2,406 points in the 2A category, which puts you in the middle of the road. I think we had about 18 to 20 different entries from the state of Utah, so the club did a great job on field day. I want to just make a few quick announcements about the Utah VHF Society. First, for those of you who may not know, we've just opened a new link into Arizona that's 24/7. You can communicate with our friendly hams down in the Phoenix area now, and that goes from Navajo Mountain in Utah down to Mount Eldon and Flagstaff, and then to Prescott, and then down to 2 different repeaters in the Phoenix area, so you can talk to most of the hams down in Phoenix if you'd like to do that. We want to make a special announcement about our annual swap meet. Don't go to where we've normally met on the last weekend of February. It's now the last weekend of March. That's the 30th of March. We'll have our annual swap meet at the Legacy Event Center in Farmington. And they've made arrangements to keep that facility available for us. It's just that the timing can't work out for us to do it in February. As a result, we're required to do our annual business meeting before the 1st of March. So we've made an agreement with the Digital Communications Conference, which is being held on the 3rd of February at the Larry Miller campus at about 94 South in Salt Lake and Sandy. And we will have our business meeting at the conclusion of the Digital Communications Conference. For those who don't wish to travel to the site, we will also have that on Zoom, so many of you can watch it from your home if you're so inclined. And we want everybody to know that the Digital Communications Conference has been a great event in the past. They do have limited seating, so if you want to attend that, make sure you sign up early so you can get a seat. I think they can only accommodate about 200, 250 people. So, yes, questions?
How do we sign up early?
For the Digital Communications Conference, do a Google on Digital Communications Conference. And I don't know if they've opened up the website yet, but I think they have. And they're working on it. And I just want to thank everybody for all of your support for the VHF Society. We had a major disaster at Navajo Mountain this last year, and our tower succumbed to all of the heavy ice on it, and it fell over. And we put in conjunction with Hams from Arizona, almost $10,000 restoring that site. So your dues have helped us a great deal on that. I want to thank you for all of that. And one final announcement. The Hams down in St. George are going to host the Rocky Mountain Division Convention this coming summer on the 11th and 12th of July. It's going to be in an air-conditioned building, and it'll be a fun event. They're hoping to have a good turnout, so if you're inclined to go and attend a really fun Ham Fest, it should be a great opportunity if you want to do that. So mark your calendar if you'd like to attend that event.
You say that's May?
That is July.
July.
11th and 12th of July.
They got the special summer rates.
We had no choice.
Lisa's going to add a little bit to that, so come on up, Lisa.
He gave part of mine, so the DCC registration isn't quite open yet. I just texted Kevin on that. Okay, can you hear me now? All right. I'm just throwing in a plug today for HamCon Zion. I was just down there working with them this week. Spent 2 days with them talking about the organizations that they've got going on. Everyone's kind of laughing that it's in the middle of the summer. But everyone else, except Utah, visits Zion in the summer. And so they've got this planned to be a great event. Those of you interested in Arduino, there will be an Arduino University taught by 2 of the professors from, please forgive me, I think it's called Utah Tech that's down there. 2 of the professors have gotten together just based on the interest at the St. George Club in Arduino. I think they might be actually running 2 sessions of it because it's extremely popular down there. Ladies, the YLRL will be having their 85th anniversary down there while we're there. I would encourage you to jump on and look at their website. They will be starting with a few activities, I think the day before and going possibly a day later. I've got some cards. Those of you who are interested, come see me, and I'm happy to give you some for the HamCon Zion, scheduled for the 12th and 13th of 2024, and we would love to see you all there. Can I answer any questions? Other than why it's in the summer?
Have they opened registration yet?
Not quite yet. The gal who is the main person had her co-chair back out, and so things are about a week to 2 weeks behind. I would guess by probably the 1st of December it'll probably be open. The banquet, the ones I've been to can hold about 100 people. This one should be able to hold about 400 people. Questions? Yes?
You mentioned HamFest in St. George, right?
Yes.
And you also mentioned something about Zion. Are they the same thing?
It's called HamCon Zion.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate having our section folks with us here today. They do a lot to help us out. Any other announcements? Any traffic from the club? Okay. We're going to move on here.
Actually, Craig, we will have the technician
we'll do that over Zoom. There'll be more information coming. I just need to line up instructors again. And so I appreciate all those who have helped in the past. Please do it again. And we'll do, I think it's a 1 month because then they test in February. So I'll get some information out on that, but that's our annual class. We can look at a general or extra later on in the year, but I want to make sure that those that are interested in getting their license, that we have an opportunity for them. There's other ways, but we like to do ours on Zoom because it's quick and convenient and easy, and we pay for the Zoom account anyway. So be thinking of folks who want to get their license. Appreciate it.
Thanks. I'm asked all the time about when's the next class going to be, so for our club, we're going to start it in January again. And if you hear anybody that's talking about I'd like to get a license, please inform them that we're going to do one in January. We'll have it out on our website, and on the Facebook page, and other places, so we can do it.
Great.
Yes?
That sounds like one of those things that you could probably put on the GMRS Facebook page. That's probably going to be a feeder group for licensing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Casey. I appreciate that. And the truth of the matter is it's already a feeder for exam sessions. There's an exam session next week in Layton, and several folks from that group are already planning to come. Mike, come on up. Now, I'm not as handsome and knowledgeable as Gene, but he wanted to make sure that you were recognized for completing two-way communications in all 50 states on 10 meters. That is awesome. So let's give it up for Mike. Congratulations. That was very, very good. Dave, you're up. You. 87GR. We got to get the right Dave here. Since this is my first time to be with you in an in-person meeting, it was time to give Dave a little bit of that time. Because you'll notice that his beard is getting a little bit gray. I think the reason for that is because for the last 5 terms, he was the president of the club. And I don't think it was gray before that happened. But that's what, that's part of the gig, I guess. So I'm going to have to be careful or shave more often or something. So we just want to give you a certificate of appreciation and recognition for your service to us. And on the table, there's another copy of this same certificate with a pen. Anyone who'd like to write a note to Dave on that certificate, which probably will become more valuable than this one, you're welcome to do that. And please share some good thoughts and feelings with him. We appreciate all he's done for the club and continues to do. He's not gone. He's very engaged and involved. Thank you, sir. All right, time to get this thing rolling. So, today I want to take some time to talk about who we are, maybe who we aren't, what we do, and just have a minute to reflect on the legacy of our club. That's really hard to read, isn't it? So I'll read it to you. The Ogden Amateur Radio Club, Inc., OARC, is a non-profit organization for the purpose of fellowship of amateur radio operators, advancement of the radio art, and community and emergency service. This comes directly from our bylaws. So, as a club, we are independent, but we have partners, and we support and partner with many groups, such as Aries, and we appreciate Brad being here, If you have an interest in Aries and haven't been engaged, please visit with Brad. He's our guy. Aries is established by the ARRL section, and the section has placed their trust and confidence in Brad, and we support him. So, as a club, we have an opportunity to support many partners, and Aries is one of them. Attended one of their meetings a while back, and one of the things that Brad indicated was if there were a major incident in Weber County, he would be called upon to provide communications for over 200 locations throughout the county. And then currently, he doesn't have 200 operators. He would love to have a few more. Also, if that were the case, and perhaps we didn't still have enough operators, he would probably be calling on us to help him. So we appreciate what he does in training for the specific Aries training. And those who choose to, please think about it. Also, we partner with community emergency communications groups like ERCs and city groups. There are many of us who already do that. It's a natural thing. It's not actually club sponsored, but it's club supported. So anybody who chooses to may join in any of these groups and use your radio and make new friends and serve your community. What we do as a club is we train, we hold courses, we license, we hold exams, we exercise our equipment with our nets, and we prepare as a club and as individual members of other organizations as each of us chooses to do. Okay, let's see if I get this to work. This might look familiar to some of you. If I can get it to go. It doesn't want to play. It was a video clip that was made by Channel 2 of our 100-year celebration we had. And it was what they honored our club with. And there were a few celebrities in there, such as Gil and Gene and a few others. And it worked every time until now, which is, Murphy's Law. So there we are. So our hobby is a hobby for everybody. We have the club nets. We have a ham and eggs net. Most of you have been on there Tuesday night, 6:30, on the 600 repeater. We have the Aries net also on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock for those who participate in that. We have the Golden Spike special event stations each year. And this last year we also made a POTA out of it, which was kind of cool. Those who participate in Utah SAG, helping with marathons, bike races, bike rides, and providing communications for those folks. How many here have done that? Done anything like that? Okay. A couple of years ago, I was helping out with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation ride. It's their major fundraising event for the year for the foundation. We were up at the corner of Summit and Morgan counties and up at the corner of the state around and cuts into the state. We had a little incident where 6 riders went down outside of Celsius. And one of our side riders came up on it fairly quickly, was able to get a hold of a postman who knew where all the homes were, and so they headed out to get a landline. And then, of course, they called it into net control. Net control got to the ride director, and everybody was shooting up the mountain as quick as they could. We actually had the life flight out. One rider had an ambulance come take a second one. They happened to be brothers. They're both fine. That's just an indication of why radio can be important, because sometimes it is the communication area that's available. So I'd encourage anybody who'd like to. We like nice, boring days where we drive around for hours and nothing happens. But if something does, we're there. We provide license classes and exam sessions we already talked about in field days. So the club's all of us. And all of us means even more people than are here. We want to be welcoming and inviting. We want to make sure everybody feels that they can be comfortable and have a home here. Each of us have different interests. And some of us have very close attachment to our interest, which is good. So if you happen to really love FT8, by all means, go and do FT8. If you love DXing, please be the best DXer you can. If you love running nets, that's good too. And some of us are crazy enough that we do a little bit of all of that. But we all have different skills and capabilities. And bringing all that together helps us to be a stronger club. And I hope we recognize that. So at the bottom it says, as a radio club, we can set an example of excellence in various forms of communication. In addition to traditional, analog, and CW, we can also encourage the newer trends such as GMRS, digital, and neighborhood nets. We are the communication steps. That's what radio is all about. And if we can encourage folks to come and join us, that would be most helpful. I hate to admit my age, but as I'm looking around, I see that I'm not alone. And at some point, we need to encourage more folks to come and join us, younger folks to come and join us. We could use a lot of help. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Oh, what do you know? So look to your left, look to your right. We can all help with what we know. So we have Elmers. I don't know if you know this, but the ARRL has a mentor award. If there's someone who's helped you out a lot, you can go to arrl.org/mentor-award. You can fill it out, put in their call sign, put in your call sign, and you can print one out and send it to them as a matter of appreciation. I sent out a few, one or two to people here, and I've actually received one. I was pretty surprised when it happened. So on my collar, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look at the little Elmer over there, I got Elmer pins, and we would like to encourage more Elmers. So with that, I'm going to have to steal my thing here. I got a few folks I'd like to recognize now. The Club Elmer officially, if you look at the website, is Stan. Come on up, Stan. You don't get away with just sitting back there. Come on up. Now, Stan is an amazing. Come on. Right here. I don't bite. Thank you. You all know this, but he's one of these guys that you just don't find every day. He knows how to fix radios and do it right. He knows how to encourage new folks, because he's done that for me. He knows how to put up antennas that are a little bit different than what you might expect, and around a ring gutter, or how many do you have in your attic? 8? About 8 attic antennas. That's the joy of living in an HOA, of course, right? So we appreciate it. I have given Stan an Elmer pin already, but there are some other folks I'd like to invite to come up. There it is, right there. Val, come on up. And where's Gary? Gary's here. Our program director. Gary, come on up. Now, Gary's more than just a program director. Gary's kind of awesome with POTA. I don't know how many of you know that. How many POTA contacts have you made?
Well, I'm not really sure on the total number, but according to POTA, I've got over 1,300 parks now hunting. Never done an activation.
So he's hunted 1,300 parks. That's pretty cool. So, if you were interested in POTA and how to get involved and what to do with it, Gary would be your guy. Val is glue.
I'm what?
Glue. That doesn't mean you're a dead horse. It just, and we don't want to beat the dead horse, but he's glue. Val keeps this club together and has for years. I can't tell you how much he does and how important he is to our club. So, I'm going to give elbow pins to Val and Barry. There will be more. So if you have suggestions, please let me know. And each club meeting, we may find we have a couple more elbows. So thank you. Give us all a big hand here. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate you humoring me. Okay, and with that, I'd like to extend an invitation to serve. We want you in the club. You don't have to know it all to help. You only have to be willing to share what you do know. And we've heard some pleas for assistance already today, and I'm going to echo some of those. First off, and you've heard this on the net more than once, we need more net control operators for the ham and eggs net. It's a fun thing to do. I've done it a few times. I love calling nets. What you probably don't know is on Tuesday nights after the ham and eggs net, I call another net for Davis County, and then I call another net for the GMRS group. So I would love to call the ham and eggs net, but 3 in a row is probably going to take my voice away from me. But all of you could do it. Penny and Larry and Stan do a great job. And we're patient. So if you're feeling a little bit skittish about it, you don't have to. You've got a lot of help, and we appreciate those who help us out. So please consider becoming a net control operator for the ham and eggs net. Now you might ask, why is it important to be a net control operator? Who knows? When an incident occurs, who's the net control operator? The first person on the air. And you're a net control operator until someone else who either has more authority or more experience relieves you. And as a net control operator, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to check in whoever else calls in on the frequency, right? You're going to get a name, you're going to get a call sign, possibly a location if it's an incident, so that you know who you have and where they might be useful. And just practicing that through something as simple as the ham and eggs net really is helpful. If you're worried about how does it work, I would encourage you during each ham and eggs net session to take out a piece of paper and a pencil, and when people call in, write down the call signs and their names. That'll do two things for you. The first one is it'll get you used to doing it, but the second one is it'll help you remember to speak slowly. Because if you can't write as fast as people are speaking, that means when you're speaking that fast, the net control operators have a hard time getting you too. And when the folks on the races net are trying to check in the entire state, that's a real issue for them. That's why it takes hours to do it. We could use additional support for our ladies net. Monday night, we have the ladies net at 7 o'clock on the 775 repeater. It's just started, and we could use another net control operator there too, as well as inviting more ladies to participate. For those who don't know, there are now 3 different sets of ladies nets in the area. Our club had just started one. The Davis clubs had one for a little while, and the Riverdale clubs had one for a while. So you can actually hear ladies nets on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Wednesday? When's Bridgerland?
Tuesdays, they do 2 and 4 and I do 3.
Okay. So Bridgerland does the 2nd and 4th week on Tuesdays. Davis County does the 3rd week on Tuesdays. And Lisa's a net control operator for Davis County. What else do we need? Oh, repeater engineer assistants. You know, we use these repeaters a lot. And I'm not sure we appreciate how much effort Scott and Mike and others put in to keep those things up and going. Not only do they put in a lot of effort, they've put in a lot of personal resources, and it's really more than we know. As a club, we could probably do a little better job supporting them. But if there's anybody you know, or if you are interested in learning how to take care of repeaters and be an engineer, it would be really helpful. Again, we're not getting any younger. Someday, we would like to find some folks who are still willing to climb towers. Not only willing, but able. Let's see. Licensed class instructors. Justin's looking for people to help him teach classes. And I happen to prefer in-person classes if we can. We've been doing Zoom, and that's great because it's convenient for folks who are a little bit farther out, and we can reach more people that way. But we need people who can actually help us do that. You don't have to know it all. We don't make you take a test and pass it before you can teach. And there are a lot of materials available. So the Stu Turner books, many of the clubs in the area are using those, and they're really good. You can have the book in front of you, you can go through it. He has PowerPoint presentations that we can use. It's really not terribly difficult. Rick's not here today. At least I haven't seen him. Okay? Nope. But Rick's our VE coordinator. We are looking for an assistant to help him. Rick's awesome. Helps us with our exams, gets them set up, make sure everything's taken care of, make sure that those who pass the license exams get everything that needs to be done so the FCC can issue their licenses. and he could use some help too. Activities committee, Mike, talked to us about Winter Field Day, Christmas parties, all those things. Anything that's outside a club meeting that we do in the outdoors is Mike's area, and he could use some help. You don't have to wait for someone to ask you. Just go and talk to them and say, hey, I got this idea. Do you think it would be a good one? Same with Gary. Gary's trying to get programs ready for us. So if you got an idea, something you'd like to hear, or something you might like to present, talk to Gary. What else? Next one's kind of tough. Stan does radio repair, and he's been doing it all his life, and he's got all this experience, and he can look at something. He just kind of, puts his hand out, feels what the radio's telling him. He's kind of the radio whisperer, and it talks to him, and it says, I heard, and this is what it is, and now, if we have anybody who's inclined to do that, I'm sure he'd be willing to help you, because he enjoys sharing in the hobby, and we all enjoy being able to do better things. I'd like to see a club service coordinator, because I'd like us to get, I'll be right with you, Ted.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Is this the SSC, the Special Service Club designation?
We're getting there, but we're not there yet.
May I spend a moment?
Would you like to do it when I'm there, or now? Go ahead.
All right. Excuse me. You need me to speak into the mic?
Gotta be heard.
Can I be heard?
A little closer.
Okay, how's that?
There, that's better.
Okay. I have hearing aids, so I understand. The Special Service Club is a designation for amateur radio clubs that are full service. I believe that Ogden is a full-service club. What is a full-service club? There's a questionnaire you have to fill out. It's quite simple, and I believe you already qualify. Do you have something in place for training new hands? Do you have a presence in your community? You may need to anoint a public information officer, but that's very simple. You can do that. Do you have some sort of connection with an areas group? So are you involved in emergency communications? Do you have continuing education? Do you have some technical people in your club that people can reference or speak to if they have a technical problem? Do you have a major event such as Field Day that you are involved in? I love Field Day more than life. I went to 2 field days last year, and I took 10 years off my life because it was a lot of work. I was the go-to coach for my small club in Sandy, and I loved doing that. We only had 12 contacts, but one of my contacts, one of my operators was a 5-year-old girl. I'm sorry, that's the reason I got my license, is see that kind of thing. Do you have something unique about your club? Do you involve yourself in something special? And I'm looking at your list, and I'm seeing some things you guys do, and I claim that this questionnaire would be straightforward to fill out. What does it get you? Well, first of all, recognition on the ARRL website, and there are about 24 clubs in Utah. Only 2 at this moment have the designation, Davis County and Utah Valley. And I am more than confident that you are equal to them in your contribution to your community. So I'd like to ask if we could make that happen this year, is get that, and you get this cool logo like it's a brown thing, you put on your website, and it tells other hams and prospective hams that you are a real ham radio club. You know what I mean by that. And so with that, I'll turn the topic. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. We're going to see that again in just a second. The search club coordinator, however, what I'd like to see, and I need some help with this, is I'd like to have someone who kind of keeps track of all the things that we're doing with our partners and things. So we do all of these bike rides, these marathons and other things. We work with Aries, and we don't track what we've done, so we can brag on ourselves a little bit. I think we should. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we've already talked about Elmer's. We've recognized a couple of them, and there are all kinds of things that we could do with, IRLP, EchoLink, WinLink, APRS. It's endless. So here's the Special Service Club designation that Ted was just talking about. And these are the different areas of it. And from what I read, it could be a 2-year process of improvement. But my understanding is we've already had this designation at one time. And there's really no reason why we couldn't renew it. So I think we deserve it. And when I say we, it's the royal we. It's not me. It's not, none of this is about me. It's all about the club. Great folks here. So with that, let's just do a quick review of upcoming events. We've got the Christmas dinner in December. In January, Rick Mead, who's associated with the section, is going to come and give us a presentation on Aries. I watched this presentation end of last year that he gave to the Davis Club, and it is excellent. So I'd encourage you to come and invite as many people as you can to come and visit with us. February, we'll do our show and tell that we normally do. In March and April, Gary's going to dream up something really good for us, and if you really have something that you think we should do, talk to Gary, because he'd be happy to help you make it happen. In May, we'll do our Golden Spike special event, which is that special thing, extra special thing. And we may also have a club meeting in May in addition to that, which Gary's thinking about and pondering. Field days in June. We're going to do a tea hunt again in July. And in August, if you're done with me, you can find someone who does it better. So there you go. And of course, the calendar just rolls around. We do certain things, certain months, and we only have a few months where we actually get together like this and bore you out of your minds. So here we go. Any questions, comments, wishes, desires, fond hopes? And remember, we've got Elmer's. Yes.
I've made contact with the youth in the community. We've had some success with scouts, with Jamboree on the Air. 8 scouts got their merit badge, radio merit badge, but I haven't had any response from the 4-H, Boys and Girls Club, the Girl Scouts, some of those groups, maybe the deaf and blind. They all seem to be pointing towards next year to do some calendaring. So if any of you have any contact with any youth groups, let me know, because it's kind of sparse right now.
And the calendaring is a good point, because a lot of organizations like us, we just went through a calendar for the year, are doing that for the next year. Just last 2 Saturdays ago, I was down in Eagle Mountain with an exam session, assisting a visually impaired lady with her license. She got her tech license, and she was going for a general, and she didn't quite make the general the first time, and so she had her phone up to her ear, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling as fast as she could, studying the questions she'd missed. And then we took it again. She didn't quite pass it the second time either, but she did at least half again better than she did on the first one, just from that little study session of about 15 minutes. It was really awesome. They've had 2 or 3 different folks who are visually impaired, and the vet coordinator asked her, "What do you use for a radio? How does that work?" She says, "Well, my radio talks to me." And so we don't want to discount anybody. We want to include everybody. Lisa.
When I've had the privilege of, this is my 4th club meeting in 8 days. I was at Riverdale Gardens Tuesday
Dad, leave her alone.
And while there was a YL who was there, who was blind, who had gotten her first QSL card. She'd made other contacts, but it was her very first QSL card that she got on, I believe it was 10 meters. And it was just neat. The whole club was just so happy for her because they really worked with her to get where she could get on the air, and I was really happy for her. I went up and congratulated her afterwards.
These are things that are really significant in folks' lives, and we can be part of it. And it's not like it's a big, huge deal for us, but it's just kind of fun to be involved in all of this. Anybody have any other business written in? Any other questions? If you ask the right questions, I have 2 more sets of presentations. I'll take about 3 hours.
I was told I wasn't great with the mic, so I'm going to let you say it out loud. HamCon Zion registration will open on Black Friday.
Okay, HamCon Zion registration opens on Black Friday. That's the event in St. George. And I would really like to encourage as many of our young ladies to participate in our ladies' nets and in the club as we can. We bring things to the club that us crotchety old guys just can't do. And I would hope that you all feel welcome and that you don't feel like someone's putting you down because you're trying and they think they know how to do it better than you do. We don't. We may act like we do. We may think we do, but we don't. So please invite any of the ladies to come and join us. Anything else? Brad, would you like to take a minute and talk about Aries, just briefly? Thank you.
So I'm here with Weber County. Oh, sir. Sorry. Better? So I am the Weber County EC for Aries. Closer. With the ARRL. Sorry. Get that away. We meet the first Saturday of the month at 10 a.m. typically. What we are starting to do is open the second hour of our meetings, our training meetings, where we focus more on the hows of emergency communications. That second hour will be open to anyone who would like to learn more. So as Weber County Aries, we help support different community events as well. We support the Ogden Marathon coming up. This next year we'll have the air show up on Hill Air Force Base that we work in conjunction with Davis County Aries. So we're interested in having whoever would like to be part of our group come out and come to those meetings, come to that second hour, see if it's something that fits what your interest levels are. If you are interested in becoming a member of the team, you can go to the Weber County Sheriff's Office website. There's a tab for emergency communication and then a tab for Aries. And you can fill out that. There's a quick little information that you can fill out, and that information your contact information will be sent to me, and I'll reach out to you regarding your interest.
Thanks, Brad.
And where do they have the meeting at that you can go to? Oh, it's at the sheriff's office on the west side of the property. There's a new warehouse there. We typically meet in that training room. in that warehouse. This month, we're meeting in the actual administration building due to just a scheduling conflict of the training room. But we're usually in that warehouse.
Is that 12th Street?
Yes, yeah. So as you come in, you kind of pass the youth detention type area, and then you would go straight into the main parking lot for the complex there. To get over to the warehouse, as soon as you, instead of going into that parking lot, hang a right, and it takes you right to that warehouse.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm not a part of Aries Weber because I'm a part of Aries Davis. I'm the Assistant Emergency Coordinator for the City of Layton. And I can't do both. So, but I would encourage you to consider it. There's a lot of good training, and we'll talk about that more in January. Rick is very good at sharing that information with us. Dave, did you have a comment?
Oh, I was just going to stir up some trouble.
Well, don't stir up trouble.
I was just going to ask if that's Aries or the Weber County Sheriff's Communications Team.
It is Aries, and it is authorized by the section in ARRL. And that's the Aries that they've authorized. So that's where we are today. Anything else anybody has? Any questions? Things you'd like to see? Casey?
Well, you have mentioned both to me on the air and just here once or twice GMRS. How you apparently have some vision of GMRS as it applies to the amateur world radar aspect.
Uh-oh.
You asked. I warned you. Okay. So I knew there would be a couple of questions. I actually have one on Aries too, but I think we're good there for them. For GMRS, General Mobile Radio Service. General Mobile Radio Service is a service of the FCC, the very same as the Amateur Radio Service is a service of the FCC. FRS, the Family Radio Service, is yet another service of the FCC. So if you receive a license, a General Mobile Radio Service license, which costs you $35 for 10 years, the same as ours, any family member, regardless of age, can operate a GMRS station and units within the licensed system. It was designed to be a family thing, originally. Now, Scott and Gene have kind of turned the whole thing on its head because they put repeaters on top of Mount Ogden. It's actually, the Mount Ogden GMRS repeater is co-located with the 600 repeater that we use for the ham and eggs net. And because the GMRS frequencies are UHF just above our band, that repeater actually has the same reach as the 600 repeater. So all of a sudden, GMRS can get up into Idaho and down into Utah Valley, which is amazing. The one on Promontory has a very similar footprint to the 4.9 repeater on Promontory as well. We've had a GMRS net going Sunday nights at 9 o'clock for a while. We used the Mount Ogden GMRS repeater to do it. And I've been checking who's been checking in, and these are the old numbers, but roughly half, little over half of everybody who checks in is dual licensed as an amateur radio operator and has the GMRS license. We have had, I don't know, I think there are going to be maybe 2 or 3 folks going to this exam session this next week for amateur radio licenses that are out of this group. It's interesting because what happens is when you get started in GMRS, you very quickly run into the limitation of 8 repeaters. And all of a sudden they get busy, and then what do you do after that? Well, you get your ham license. Because we've got 1,000 repeaters across the state of Utah, VHF and UHF. And now we can get into Arizona, up in Montana, Nevada, all the way into Idaho. It really is eye-opening to the folks when they very first get started.
So it's the gateway drug.
It is, I call it a gateway drug. And it might be almost as powerful as that white powder people talk about.
The only problem with that, though, is the first one is not free.
Just as a matter of interest, last night someone started a simplex GMRS net. They wanted to see how far they could get without the repeaters. And so, much as what we would do with low power type things, you're advised to turn your squelch down to 0, so you're going to hear some noise. And I was talking out of South Layton to some guy out in West Jordan last night, simplex on GMRS, which was amazing. I mean, that was quite a distance. And north, there was someone up in North Roy, I think I was talking to as well. Now, I did have an external antenna, and I was pushing 50 watts, because I can. I have a license, and I've got a mobile radio that does it. They weren't. The one North Roy, I think, was just on an H2. And Casey was on H2, I was able to get a hold of him too as well, so. It's interesting. It's just another form of communication. And it is basically a gateway drug that people understand. There's a Facebook group called Northern Utah GMRS Information. If you want to know more about it, go join that group. Casey started it and ran it, and he got that whole thing off the ground. Somebody at one time said, why don't we do a net? And I waited for a week or two, and nobody was doing a net, so I said, we're going to do a net Sunday night. So I started one, and Casey took it over, and it's great. Now we have a second net on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. using the promontory repeater, and I've been doing that. So, do I have anything else on that? Oh yeah, you might want to know where the repeaters are. So, all GMRS repeaters have a positive offset. They all start at 462 something. You'll be able to remember the Mount Ogden GMRS repeater because it's 600, the same as our hand repeater is 600. That was intentional. And it uses a digital code instead of a PL tone of 114. And that's the same on the promontory. The promontory is 462-700, digital code 114.
Are these on the website?
If they're not, we can get them there.
Good. I just noticed a lot of people take pictures.
Yeah. That's because I'm so handsome and they like my shirt. Got the logo embroidered. Yes.
What's the channels on GMRS?
The challenge?
Channels.
Oh, the channels. I'm going to have to apologize. I didn't write those down. I should have. And when I program my radios, I don't use the same channels they do because I can put them in different ways. And I don't have them memorized. But I will get those to Val. We can publish this on our website, and we'll do it by channel as well. So if you want to do it by channel, the top 8 is at 22 down to 17 or something, are the actual repeater channels. So on a GMRS radio, if it says it's a repeater channel, what that means is it is automatically giving you an offset because there's no place to program the offset otherwise. And it's only those channels that have the offset on it, so they're the only ones that really would work, unless you go up to the do-it-yourself channels, which I do up in the 30s and 40s and whatever else. Powder Mountain has one, and it was put up there because the ski patrol, I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal this or not, but I'm going to. You're going to get a secret here. Ski patrol is having a hard time having communications up there, and they approached me and said, can you set us up with some ham radios, and so we can talk? And after about 2 seconds, Scott says, no. Not unless you're licensed. So, making a real long story really short, they found a GMRS repeater, and they've been doing that. And so if you ever want to listen to the Skate Patrol in the winter, just dial in the 462-625 plus with a PL 103.5, and you can monitor whatever's going on. There's one down on Shepherd's Peak. This 462-625 seems to be a popular frequency user, and I believe it's channel 18. The one Shepherd's Peak was put up by Greg Lundell, who owns Precision Electronics down in Centerville. If you don't know him, how to get to know him, he's a good guy. The PL 141.3 is an open code he used. He's given out a dozen codes to different people. He's got construction companies using it, he's got schools using it, and he's just changed a code for the Davis Club, which is TCS code 464. And now the Ogden Club knows about that. So that's another one that you can use. That particular repeater is pretty heavily used though. Oh, did we do anything else here? Okay. Why GMRS? Family licensing invites generational radio use with your kids, grandkids. The license is good for children, grandchildren, parents, grandparents. It's pretty open. It's a good way to learn etiquette and repeater operation. Casey can tell you that on the Sunday night nets, they talk a lot about that kind of thing. Antenna theory, all kinds of things. Repeaters have the same reach as our hand repeaters. We encourage hand licensing as the limitations realize, we already talked about that. It's just another way to communicate for IMCOM events. This year at the Davis Cup, the Davis Cup is a band competition held out at Davis High School every year in October. And Davis County has what they call the War Wagon, which is a trailer they take out and does all their communications for things. In addition to ham radio, they put a GMRS station in, and they invited GMRS operators to come and help out with the event. So we were doing a little cross-training there. One that I wanted to attend, but again, I was in Tennessee. On GMRS, the HTs are limited to 5 watts. The mobile's limited to 50. It's easy to get in because there's no exam. You just pay your bucks to the CC and you go. So there we go. And for us, it's an opportunity for us to guide folks towards appropriate radio use. Anybody who's been listening in to CV the last several years will know that it's probably not a very family-friendly place to be. So this just gives us an opportunity to do more with different radios. And we'll go with that somewhere. So there we go. Yes.
Every time something new, can you hear me? Every time something new comes up, I think, I want to do that too. So now I have all kinds of things started. And GMRS, for me to get started, which I knew nothing about it, I called Scott and Jean and I said, what are you using? What radio do you have? And then when I get the radio, which I did, it was $150 because they buy nice things. And then I say, what do I do with it now? And then they set it up for me. So I have it all set up, and so they must have some programming that they could do and help people with getting started on that. And when I ordered the radio, the particular company had a laminated sheet with all the information about GMRS and stations and the cities and everything. It was really a nice extra thing for a couple dollars extra. So if you're interested in doing that, that might be your road to start unless you're already into it. And then, if I may, I wanted to say Brad, with the Sheriff's Communication team, is excellent. I've been on that team for a few years now, And I'm really looking forward to that second hour of the day because of the meeting, because the first hour will be Sheriff's Communications business, and the second hour is going to be training and communications type things and experiencing things, and I'm really looking forward to that. So it's open to ladies too, because I'm there with a few others. And so that team, it's very friendly and it's very open, and we're excited because we haven't had this ourselves as a team. An hour of actual training, and I learned this with hands-on. So that leads me next to the things like WinLink, EchoLink, or something. Maybe it's not a big interest to a lot of people. There's some of those things that I really like, but I'm a hands-on person, so I go online and I listen to YouTube and stuff like that, but then I buy whatever it says to buy, and then I like sit there and it gets dust because I need some, I'm hesitant, so I need somebody that'll just hands-on with me for a couple times. So I like the WinLink and Echo. And then also I wanted to say the experience with the ladies YLNet on Monday. We had a first meeting, there were about 5 of us, and meeting number 2, I didn't set my alarm clock, so I missed it. But I understand that the net control had laryngitis. So we're getting started, we had a little rough start, but we're excited about doing the women's things, and you men can listen in, it's okay. We probably won't talk about tires and stuff like that, but because sometimes we get into other subjects. You might hear us mention our favorite recipe maybe as we get into it, but we're learning too, and we're going to probably start out with learning about each other, what our strengths are, what our radios are, and things like that. So that's going to be a really good plus for this club, and maybe if we practice a lot, we'll feel confident enough to sign up on those other things that you guys have been signing up for years, but we're going to practice a little bit. And let's see. I think there was one other thing I wanted to mention, but if I think of it, I'll jump up. And this isn't about the club, but I hope you forgive me for adding this in. Utah State flag was changed by a committee, and then the legislature voted it in. If you want it on to be voted whether you change our Utah flag or not, I have a referendum this time. That's all I have. Sorry for that.
Thanks, Colleen. That, to me, was a plea for more Emers. There's plenty of needs. Casey?
Great. Can I expand just a little bit on the GMRS side?
Sure.
I'm Casey. I am a ham guy. I haven't spent a lot, or I'll do the microphone. Good idea.
All right, people hear me? Okay, I'm Casey. No one's ever met me here. First time here. I've been a member of the club for 3 years, I think. But lately, I've been getting into the GMRS side. Pardon? Keep the mic right there. Okay, just like that. GMRS, if you're already fully invested in HF or UHF, VHF on the ham side, there's not a whole lot of reason personally to go into GMRS. All the same capabilities from the 2 meter and 70 centimeter, you already have all that. But what you do provide if you're playing with GMRS is an opportunity to guide and teach new radio operators that have no idea how radio works really, other than push a button and talk. Teach them good practices and the good technical information. There is no test for GMRS, so people just sign up with no knowledge and just start talking. They don't know what they're doing. But as let me back up a little bit. GMRS starts with FRS, little blister pack radios you get at Walmart or Sportsman's Warehouse. Those have 2-watt limitations, and they say, I want something more powerful. Someone says, hey, go get a Baofeng radio and get and play with GMRS. So they move up, but they still don't have any technical know-how. But as people play more and as more ham operators work in the GMRS side, they can teach the new operators. And that's where the gateway drug into ham operation comes in. They say, ooh, this is a lot of fun. We can do more stuff. How do I do that? Well, study, get your license, and then you open up a whole new world of ways to spend money. So yeah, as you're talking with GMRS users, if you're on those channels, be nice to them. They're trying to learn. They don't know yet, but they want to learn based upon the people we've talked to in the various nets. So again, if you want to, great. There's no real need to for your own purposes. So this is more to guide others. That's all I have.
Thanks, Casey. Well, best laid plans. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today and for putting up with me. A reminder, we have a second certificate for Dave here. Take a minute, if you'd like. Send him a note. And Dave.
Quick two things. The Auto Amateur Radio Club also has a Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, whatever, stop by. We'll be glad to have more conversations going on there. And there's the unofficial ham and eggs breakfast every Wednesday morning at the Rusted Spoon. 8 o'clock, Rusted Spoon down there on 12th and Wall. Right-ish, right in there. You'll find it. What's that? Something like that. Yeah, it's just right there on Wall, just down from 12th Street. It's easy to find. Just thought I'd mention those because some days, like I guess about 3-4 weeks ago, they had like 4 people show up to it. And other days we had upwards around 20 people show up. So if you want to meet some of the other operators, get some advice, talk about things, either radio or we even stray into some politics. If it's interesting to you, we talk about it usually at breakfast, and it's a lot of fun. So,
Thanks, those are good reminders. When I first started going to the ham and eggs breakfast, it wasn't for breakfast. Just because there's people there I could learn from. And I learned a ton. You can ask anything, and more than happy to talk about radio. They do stray into politics once in a while, so you got to pick your table, because it depends on which table you're at and what they believe and all that stuff. So, anyway, if there's nothing else, yes, Stan.
I brought my programming stuff. If anybody has a handheld or even a mobile that they want to program some frequencies in, I can do it here.
Okay.
Probably. Depends on what it is.
So Stan's offering to do some programming for our radios. If you forgot to bring one today and you needed some help with it, bring it next time. Any questions about our dinner next month? Any concerns about that? Okay? Well, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you putting up with me, and we'll see you on the Ham and Eggs Net and next month at the Royal City Buffet.